more than just his physical container, and that this flawed perception actually creates his reality, and he is trapped in bondage to the illusion of the material plane. The verse is also perfectly representing the next tarot card, number 7, the Chariot, and is symbolic of the ethereal form of the male and female twin souls and the ethereal plane. As we have discussed previously, our souls move between the material and ethereal plane during our incarnations on this realm. This ethereal plane is also relayed in the Greek mythology of Hades. Hades was not only a place where one could face a time of torment as a soul while awaiting their physical incarnation, but the mythology also tells there were levels within Hades where the good souls spend their time in a beautiful garden awaiting to be incarnated again. On the ethereal plane, we are closer to the divine, and as such, we have a full understanding of ourselves. However, we do not have the benefit of this understanding when we incarnate physically onto the material plane. So let us look further into the Chariot card and see what we can unlock with this symbolism to help us better understand the true extent of our potential and who we really are. The Chariot card is card number 7. The number 7 is relating to the 7 energy points or primary chakras within our ethereal form. It is also relating to the 7 gates, which are symbolic of the ascent from the root chakra, our first gate, back to reunite with God consciousness at the 7th gate, which equates to the crown chakra. If we look to the ancient Egyptian number key, we will see that the number 7 is also connected with the root chakra. This is again symbolic of the ascent of the soul back to God consciousness, which begins at the root chakra, the first gate. These 7 gates back to the divine can also be related to the Sumerian mythology of the goddess Inanna, who was symbolic for the divine female twin soul and her journey of sacrifice as she passes through each of the 7 gates of the underworld. The underworld being symbolic for the material plane, and each gate is depicting our ascent back to reunite with divine source. We see this scene repeated in Jacob's ladder, where there are 7 rungs on the ladder back to heaven, and according to the Jewish teachings, before the coming of the Messiah, the first angel representing the 70th year exile of Babylonia climbed up 70 rungs and then fell down. So again we see there is a connection to the path back to God and the number 7. This path back to God consciousness through these gates or levels is relayed in the verse Matthew 7:14. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. The number 7 is relating this to our ethereal self, and 1 and 4 equals 5, which is symbolic of our covenant with God. So let us see where the Chariot card falls on the Fibonacci sequence. And we see it is on the number 13 in the sequence. And number 13 is also positioned at the top of the ancient Egyptian number key, connected to the 3rd eye and crown chakra. 13 is also connected to the number 13 death card. However, this is not something to be feared, as it is representing the death of our physical container. For we must understand that we are ethereal beings in our truest form, for that is how we were first created from God consciousness. Therefore, symbolically, when we are incarnated on the material plane within our physical bodies, we are in death, unlike our ethereal self, which is immortal. We also see another connection to the physical within the number 13. For when we add 1 and 3, this equates to 4. And as we saw with the Emperor card, 4 represents foundation and the earth. So this is what the death card is symbolic for, the death of our physical containers on the material plane. However, the establishment have used the fear of death as a tool to control the masses, and they have ensured that the herd were not only programmed to fear physical death, but to also fear the number 13 and view it as evil, when in fact it is symbolic of the resurrection of our soul and life. When we look to the ancient Egyptian number key, the number 13 is related to the third eye and crown chakra. We can even view these two chakras as working together, as these energy points represent where our soul consciousness meets God consciousness. The crown chakra actually begins at the Ajna third eye chakra, which is connected to us physically at the pineal gland, and then permeates out into pure consciousness to sit above the head at the crown. This is why the crown chakra is sometimes shown at the third eye pineal gland area, as this is the point where our soul and our consciousness reunites with God. It is the gate through which we leave our physical containers, and it is actually referred to as the gateway in the Hindu tradition. On the Kabbalah tree of life, the third eye pineal gland is relating to Dalis, also called door, once again showing that it is at this point we reunite with divine source. We can also see this spoken of in scripture as meeting God face to face or eye to eye. And in this verse, it is symbolic of the third eye pineal gland opening to see God face to face. But this is done through the heart first. Psalm 27:8. When thou saidst, seek ye my face, my heart said unto thee, thy face, Lord, will I seek. 2 and 7 equal 9, and is symbolic of the divine Trinity, the divine twin souls and God meeting face to face. And the number 8 is symbolic of the immortal soul and God's source, and is also connected to the heart on the ancient Egyptian number key. In the Hindu tradition, the crown chakra is called the Sahasrara, and is the 7th primary chakra. So again, we have a connection to the number 7 chariot card and the crown chakra. The crown chakra is considered to be the chakra of pure God consciousness, and it is symbolized by a lotus with 1,000 multicolored petals. It is located either at the crown of the head or above the head. This chakra contains the white drop, or Bodhicitta, a Sanskrit word meaning that which is conscious. In the ancient Hindu teachings, the crown chakra is represented by the color white and is connected to inner wisdom and the death of the body. In Tibetan Buddhism, the point at the crown of the head is represented by a white circle with 33 downward pointing petals. It is of primary importance in the performance of phawa, which means the projection of consciousness after death, or a transference of consciousness at the time of death, in order to obtain a rebirth in a pure land. So again, in both these different cultural teachings, we see that the death of the physical body is connected with this chakra, which is symbolically what the 13 Death Tarot card is also showing us. The pure land they are referring to is symbolic for a time on this realm at the beginning of the cycle, when all including Mother Earth are at the height of an illumination of divine consciousness. The ancient Egyptians called this Aru, the field of reeds. And this is the place all souls aspire to rebirth into, a new cycle of incarnation beginning with a golden age. The reuniting with God consciousness at this point is also depicted in the symbolism of the third eye chakra, where we see the sun and the moon shown on either side of the triangle. The triangle points downwards, representing ethereal and divine forces being brought down onto the physical plane. The sun is symbolic of the male twin soul, and the moon is representing the female twin soul. It is at this point the Trinity are reunited, and this is symbolically represented by the triangle over the large white circle in the middle. The seed syllable for this chakra is the syllable Om, and the presiding deity is Araharishvara, who is half male and half female, representing Shiva and Shakti. As we now understand from previous videos, Shiva and Shakti are symbolic of the divine male and female twin souls in their ethereal forms. In the ancient Hindu text, it says, in the repetitive cycle of the eons, Araharishvara is ordained to reappear at the beginning of every creation as in the past. And Aptala, a 10th century Indian mystic, called this form